not all of the Ninjago arcs are good. In fact, there's been quite a lot of iffy and sometimes even horrendously bad Ninjago arcs. Now, for this ranking video, I'm gonna only doing the main cast, so, when I mean main cast, I mean all the Ninja, Wu, and Garmadon. So no side character arcs, and no, like, Skylar, none of the lower tier characters. But if you want me to do a futuristic video of all of those, let me know so that I can, do, and then I might be able to do a future video about them. But anyways, I am Luke the Ninjroid, and here are my top 5 worst Ninjago ninja arcs. At number 5, we have a kind of surprising choice. Well, a non-surprising entry, but in a surprising spot. And that number 5 is Kai's powerless arc from season 11. Now you might be thinking, wait, Luke, didn't you say you liked this arc? Yes, but I do understand why a lot of people hate this. I remember a commenter on my channel when I made that video why it actually made sense to me said it best. It's not the actual arc itself that's the problem, it's how Kai responded to it that I think a lot of fans just straight up hated and called Kai out of character for that. Basically, they didn't like how Kai was just whining and crying like a little bitch, essentially, throughout the majority of the arc. Which is understandable, considering no one likes a whiner, no one likes a complainer. So, it kind of went on for a little bit. It lessened as it went on, so that was a good spot. And even though I did like this arc, I can understand why a lot of people don't. And it also had a sort of iffy-ish ending, so that kind of also didn't help, but yeah. I understand why a lot of people don't like this arc, because it didn't really have a good resolution, and it just didn't feel something that Kai would do in their minds. Number 4 is shocking, considering a lot of people I know love this arc, but I don't like it at all. And that is Lloyd's trauma arc from Season 8 to Season 13. Now, some of you might be thinking, Season 8? Don't you mean Season 11? Well, I actually had a debate about this with one person. I'm not going to name his or her name. But, basically, to me, the trauma arc started when he first got the trauma, which was Season 8. Well, the ending of the final 2 episodes of Season 8. So, it started basically when Lloyd got beaten the shit out of by Garmadon. And then in Season 9, it looked like it was really good. It looked like it was on a high. And honestly, it should have ended after Season 9. And then Season 10, there was really nothing there. And then in Season 11, I don't know. That was when I just first started to just straight up detest this arc, because to me, that arc did not need to continue at all. There was no need for it to continue at all, and all it did was a pathetic excuse of continuing an arc that needed no reason to continue, essentially. There was that one moment in Season 12, but I don't know, it was cringy as hell to me. And in Season 13, it really just gave Lloyd an excuse to be an asshole to Vanya in Season 13. I understand the point they were trying to make, that not every princess or not every person you assume is a bad person. I understand the point they were trying to make, but they should have done that. If they wanted to resolve it, like, for like a 2-3 season thing, they should have done it in Season 10. But yeah, Season 10 didn't really have that many, so they had to basically... This one, I can't really blame all that much because of time constraints and, you know, production change and whatnot. I can't really blame it all that much on this arc as a whole, but I do think this arc lasted way longer than it actually should have, and that's why I put it on this video. At number 3, we have Garmadon finding his emotions. Now, a lot of people actually do like this arc as well, But for me, it had potential. It would have not been on this list had it actually been resolved properly. Garmadon just walking off, that's not a resolution to me, because that leaves things open for interpretation. I don't want an interpretive ending crap. I don't want that crap. I want an actual solid resolution to it. It deserves a resolution, and even with the new Garmadon comic books coming out by Skybound, that publisher, not the season, even with that, I doubt that it would actually help my thought process with this, because I believe it's something that deserves to be resolved in the series. So if you don't know what this arc is, it's basically starting, it kind of had a thing starting in season 9-ish, where he's kind of finding himself back, essentially. Because in season 8, the last 2 episodes of season 8 he was basically a zombie with no emotions whatsoever, but he starts to regain them around season 9. Because you see him developing fear, developing hesitation, developing a lot more anger, fear, and whatnot. And it all came to a head in season 10, and then it just kind of gets ignored after that. And that's what kind of hurts me at most, because you can't just ignore an arc like this and pretend it didn't exist. You have to actually resolve it in a neat way. Now, I've seen a lot more people praise him just walking off, and I can understand that if that was like the final time Garmadon was going to be used. But so far we have no clue when or if he's going to return. So it kind of raises up a few questions in the air, you know what I mean? So for the time being, it's going to be on this list, but if it actually does get resolved, whether it be at the comic books or the TV show, it might be dropped off the list later down the line. I'm gonna get scorched to death with this one. But at number 2, I put Jay's arc in season 6. Now, don't get me wrong, season 6 Jay is the best version of him. However, even that Jay was pretty much kind of booty water to me. Because it had so much potential to be good. It had so much potential. But then, a bitch named Nia appeared. What was the point of adding Nia into this arc? What reason was there to add Nia to this arc? I don't understand. What reason is there to add in Nia to this arc? It really felt like she was there just to give more Jaya fan service, because apparently you can't get enough Jaya fan service for some reason. A big problem I've had with Jay's character, and I've told about this in a multitude of videos, is that he has no individual growth. There's nothing individual with him. It's always something to do with Nia and the relationship he has with Nia. And that is limiting him. The writers and the creative team need to know that Jay needs individual growth. He needs to grow as a character that doesn't involve Nia. Because by linking him to Nia, you're essentially limiting what this character can do, essentially. And that, to me, is just straight up disrespectful to the character. I'm still shocked that a lot of fans of Jay, a lot of Ninjago fans see Jay as the favorite of the ninja. That shocks me, because he has no individual growth, yet he's the most popular. Where's the logic in that? But then again, it could be down to personality and whatnot, but I digress. The fact of the matter is, this arc could have been so good had Nia not been involved. And I feel like if Nia wasn't involved, it would have been one of the best arcs in the series. But unfortunately, Nia just dragged him down. She was a liability, and all we got instead was a bunch of not necessary Jaya fan service. And at number 1, if you know me, this was an easy number 1. But at number 1, I chose Nia's powerless arc. Careful, Luke. You know what you're doing. Okay, without me losing my cool, because I don't want to lose my cool on my videos. Let me tell you exactly why this horrendous piece of shit is at number 1. For one, it rips off an arc that is already existing in that same season, which is Kai's powerless arc that I mentioned earlier. There's no originality in there whatsoever. You're essentially ripping off your own material. Now, I understand that originality basically does not exist in literature world. I understand that. But ripping off your own material is that. Are you that damn desperate? You can't be that desperate to rip off your own material just for the sake of some growth. You must be desperate if you think that was gonna work. Number 2, it really spits in the face of us Zane fans. I still remember when this chapter was coming out, a lot of Zane fans were worried that Nia was going to replace Zane as a character and that she would be the new Master of Ice. And honestly, if that actually would have happened, Zane fans would have rioted. Nia would have basically, I swear to God, Kelly Metzger would have possibly gotten death threats, I feel like, if that actually did happen, which is undeserved, because she's just doing her job. But I would understand, because Zane is a way more likable character than Nia. And this is not me talking, this is Zane fans talking. Especially considering Nia hasn't had a good reputation. The only reason she kind of has a good reputation now is Seabound. But it would have been incredibly disrespectful to us Zane fans if she was just all of a sudden swooned in as the new Master of Ice for no reason. It would have been just basically a middle finger to us, essentially. Number 3, the whole teachings with Sorla, they meant nothing. Well, no, not exactly. Let me take that back. They meant let me start over. Number 3, it didn't have a good resolution. Remember how I mentioned back in Garmadon's arc at number 3 that it didn't have a good resolution? Well, this didn't either. I think my friend Four Corners E said it the best. They were planning to resolve this arc, but then they were like, oh shit, we need to resolve Kai's arc. So they backtracked themselves just to give Kai the spotlight and the finality of the arc he deserves. Because if you don't know, the original conclusion to this arc was Nia controlling Boreal, which would have been way cooler. At least it would have saved that arc from being a complete shit show. But no, as soon as she says, obey to the ice, Boreal, boom, you think Boreal's done, whatever. Nope, Boreal just comes right back up like it didn't even flinch. It almost makes you go you put in all that effort to put in an arc for her, and this is what she deserves? That's disrespectful. That is disrespectful to not only the character, but potentially to the voice actress. Because I believe she deserves better than that. She deserves better than that. Honestly, I don't see how this arc actually came to fruition. I don't feel like the writers fully thought this out when it was first created. But to be fair, at the time, it was made during what I call the experimental phase in Ninjago, which was season 11. So there were a lot of ideas that could have been thrown out there, but just didn't quite get made in there. And it just had to do with the best with what they had, which, I mean, I can't complain about that. However, if that's the best of what you got, then that's just laughably bad. But then again, I'm just one guy. And whatever I say probably won't matter to them, so whatever. But anyways, that is going to be it. What do you guys think about this list? Do you agree with this list or do you not agree? And if not, tell me what do you think are your top 5 worst ninja arcs. Let me know in the comments down below. But anyways, I hope you guys like this video. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel by clicking on the red subscribe button, and click on the notification button to see every video that I will upload. And I'll see all you folks in the next video. Bye bye!